with the Arizona Benefits Specialist with Arkwood Consulting. We talk a lot of different stuff from HR to 401k to health benefits. And today, California. No, well, not really, but we'll expand. Peter Rowe is the owner of Arkwood Consulting, and he joins us this morning. Might be joined by someone in a minute. We'll see how out of breath they are. But good morning, Peter, and thank you for joining us. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. You too.
Because I saw Brandon last week. Let's get into this. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. You always email me very nicely a very detailed topic list, unlike Brandon, and you say new era in data.
It's over-preparer in me.
Yeah, new era in data and privacy compliance. I guess them crazy folks in California did some Consumer Protection Act. Explain.
They did. And this is really coming through the voice of Arkwood HR. As you know, we work with a lot of employers on many different topics, some operational, some employee matters. But on the operational side, we obviously focus on, training. And it could be sensitivity training, could be the ADA. But really what we've learned through Dennis, who's one of our attorney partners, he's in our space in our office, and he really specializes in general business law. He represents small businesses and entrepreneurs, and just having conversations with him in today's new environment, what the CCPA, which is the California Consumer Protections Act, has done is kind of moved us into like a 2.0 of data protections.
Okay, and there's been a lot of that going on over the pretty big name data breaches over the last 2, 3, 4 years, right?
Absolutely, and that's kind of been the first part of just data is what happens if you have a breach.
Right.
So what's the protocol when a breach actually happens, and so now all of our states, all 50 states, have some type of law or act that's come in for the breach. Now what the CCPA has kind of done is it's bringing it into how are you managing the data that you currently have, in your company, whether it's going to be for client data, or it could be data that you're sharing with vendors, or it could be employee data.
I'm looking at this. What is that? Pseudonymous?
Pseudonymous data.
Pseudonymous. Why you throw? You even said that's a $10 word. All right.
It is a $10 word.
I'll let you spell that without looking down.
Well, I did tell you that I had to go into it was probably Wikipedia or something like that to figure out what it meant.
Okay.
And that's where Dennis's value would have been great today, because he would have told us the definition of pseudonymous data, which my understanding, excuse me, is what they're doing with the actual the data that we own and how are we impacted by that data.
We continue here with the Arizona Benefits Specialists every Tuesday at 7:35 on Money Radio. And of course, those specialists are Peter Rowe, Brandon Oliver, and others from Arkwood Consulting, who join us every Tuesday to discuss some of the stuff that's going on. So someone's going to ask, well, this is California. What does this have to do with us? I'm a business owner in Arizona. Leave me alone.
Exactly. But when you're kind of digging through the fine print of it, what we're learning is that if you're an organization that has $25 million in revenue and have a relationship in California, you can become a covered entity under this act. So it's not that you technically have $25 million in revenue in California, it's just that you could be a $25 million organization and have representation in California, and that can make you a covered entity. And then what complicates it more is that if you're working with an organization as a vendor, and they are a $25 million revenue in California, then you're now going to be covered underneath that kind of relationship thread.
Right. I feel like it's harder and harder to avoid some of the phishing that goes on, with the PH, by the way, because they happen to these phishing attacks. I mean, we all get so many emails, right? And now they've created. I've gotten really good at it, and I'm going to give my own. Maybe you were going to do this, but I'm going to spoil it for you. My own way to look at it. When you see an email you're not sure about, look at the email address. That is the telltale sign.
Absolutely.
If there's some weird, even if it looks like it's from Amazon or Chase or, hey, your bank account's been, compromised. If it's not chase.com, right, but it's chase thing, .co.ue,
right,
you're being hacked, you're being phished, you're being scammed.
Yeah. We have policies and procedures for that, just through our organization, working with our clients, making sure that they have an understanding how to recognize that. I mean, just our firm alone, we blocked it, but there was definitely some attempts coming in, and it seemed like the most popular one was to try and change a direct deposit. One was for one of our associates, our employees in the office, and then the second one actually came in from me. And that's
Oh,
when,
really?
yeah, when the flag came up and they said, we just have a request to change your direct deposit. Is this accurate? And I'm like, well, no. And
Was it to Brandon's bank account? Or
yeah,
I
exactly.
think I just solved your problem. By the way, if you're listening right for the first time now, this is Peter Rowe. He is, of course, with Arkwood Consulting, and they are the Arizona Benefits Specialists on Money Radio every Tuesday at 7:35. We sit down and talk a lot of stuff. This is the first time we've really delved into the HR component
Exactly, right.
of what you guys do. It's always usually health, group health benefits, and then 401k. So I'm glad we're doing this because this is the third arm, if you will.
It is
of what you
absolutely
guys
the
do.
third arm, and it's expensive. We can potentially have issues where people are just not really paying attention to this, and we're learning. The average cost of a breach or an expense is about $4 million. And then generally people are like, well, I buy insurance on this, and so since I have insurance, I'm protected. But since we're kind of in the newer phase of the 2.0, there's really not a lot of consistency. There's 200 different types of forms that you can go through. You've got organizations or the insurance policies could be only giving you coverage based upon how you're actually going through and storing the data and protecting the data. And if you're not doing enough, or if you're not reading the policies and the contracts, then that could just be an exclusion. Well, you didn't follow these steps to protect the data that you're housed in your office, and so therefore, you have no coverage.
Right.
So it's really it's an interesting conversation.
It is, and I think it's also very difficult to navigate as a business owner. So you probably need help.
Yes, you absolutely need help.
And I think that's a good segue to where Arkwood, I guess it's Arkwood HR LLC comes into play. So why don't you explain that? I think it's the same phone number, but go ahead and explain.
It is all the same phone number, but it's led by Diana Durham, our organization, and then one of our partners is Dennis Hall. He's got his own firm. He shares office here. Him and Diana can throw stuff at each other, which is kind of comical because you always hear in the back of the room, "Hey, you're not going to believe what just happened," and it's like, well, you kind of can. But between that, those two individuals and plus their extended teams, that's where they can really kind of dig in and just do some analysis. And really, what the conversations that we're bringing out to our clientele right now is, A, do you understand what's happening with the new compliance era? B, have you taken steps? Do you understand what data is? Do you understand what personally identifiable information is? And then are you taking, did you insure it? And then if you did insure it, do you understand what the policy says? So to make sure that you're putting in your policies and procedures to make sure that you're protected if there is a data breach. Do you know what your employees are carrying with them? Everyone has a cell phone and everyone has a contact list on their cell phone.
Right.
Is there client information on that cell phone? Is that client information protected information? So really what the conversation is that we want to just get in front of the organizations, and it's either going to be through Diana or through Dennis, and just have the conversation of, those main topics, and then, start training the individuals in the organization on how to treat the data that you have.
As of a couple weeks ago, a new compliance environment is here. Make sure you and your company are up to date. And I would suggest calling Peter and his group over there at Arkwood HR LLC, 602-726-6280. Or always just email info@arkwood.com.
Info@arkwood, yeah. It goes to our team, and then triages into the different organizations.
By the way, Brandon Oliver and Peter Rowe are investment advisor representatives offering advisory services through Arkwood Financial LLC, a registered investment advisory firm. They also do employee benefit consulting and brokers offering group insurance and self-funded employer-sponsored employee benefit plans through Arkwood Benefits Consulting Incorporated, and, of course, human resource and business operation consulting through Arkwood HR LLC. All three of those companies are independent companies. Arkwood Consulting does not offer legal, tax, or compliance advice. For questions or to request more information, call them again, 602-726-6280, or email info@arkwood.com.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, Brandon Oliver and Peter Rowe.
Can you also Wikipedia pseudonymous data?
Nope. That would require me to go back and spell it.
That'll be another segment.
That's one of those words where when the 12-year-olds are doing the spelling bee, that's one of them.
Absolutely.
They're like PSEUDONYMOUS, pseudonymous, whatever you said. Peter,
that'll be a future segment.
good to see you. Thanks for the big word. Thanks for making me look stupid on there. And I'll see you.
Clearly, I have it in my script, and I didn't know what the definition of it was.
That's
so
all
I'm
right.
not sure it extends to me.
Well, definition, spelling, pronunciation, we nailed it. There you go. That's Peter Rowe and Arkwood Consulting, the Arizona Benefits Specialist for